It's my music top 10, 1977. I have to confess that there are 2 or 3 albums outside the top 10 that on any other year would have been inside. It was a really difficult year to choose your top 10. The ones I'm referring to that didn't make it were The Clash, American Stars and Bars, Sex Pistols, of course, and The First Beat of Gabriel, and New Boots and Panties by Ian Dury, and not forgetting Slow Hand and Talking Heads 77. So what albums made it then? Okay, at number 10, it's Heroes by David Bowie. Of course, this was the second in his trilogy of Berlin-influenced albums, and what an awesome piece of work it is. The title track, who could ever forget that, and Sons of the Silent Age, which I find mesmerizing. At number 9 is Songs from a Wood by Jethro Tull. Ian Anderson decided that he was going to get into the medieval folksy rock season, and it works. It is lovely, and I can't stop playing this album. Hunting Girl, Velvet Green, absolutely brilliant, and the title track, of course. At 8, Low, David Bowie, an album of 2 sides. The first side is the more traditional Bowie, Sound and Vision, always crashing in the same car. And then there's the second side, the sort of really deeply depressing, macabre, electronic side with Warsaw and others. Still brilliant, of course. At 7, we've got Aja by Steely Dan. Steely Dan have been threatening to go more jazz rocky, and when Aja came along, they had completely committed to that style of music. They got some tremendous session musicians in. Wayne Shorter was on the title track on sax, and I love Peg as well. Beautiful album. Really, you ought to get to listen to it. At number 6, John Martyn, One World. This is where we get into John Martyn's psychedelic rock phase, and it's so dreamlike that you feel you want to stay in it forever. There's some tremendous tracks on here. Small Hours, Certain Surprises, and others. Up to 5 then. Showtime by Ry Cooder. This is a live album, and it's absolutely gorgeous. He's got Flaco Jimenez on accordion. He's got his trilogy of backing singers, the 3 males singing tenor, alto and soprano, and the blues on here is absolutely top line. Who can forget Jesus on the Main Line? How can a poor man stand such times and live? Oh, Ry Cooder, one of the greatest musicians of all time. At 4, Stick to Me by Graham Parker and the Rumours. Now, his first 2 albums, Graham Parker's first 2 albums with the Rumours, are standout. But this one was a little bit more heavy, a little bit more rocky, but some of the tracks on here make your hair stand on end. Who can forget Watching the Moon Comes Down? Parker's voice is awesome, and Soul on Ice. And my personal favourite, I'm Gonna Tear Your Playhouse Down. Don't bother with the Paul Young version, that's rubbish. Listen to the Parker version. At number 3 is Marquee Moon by Television. They weren't around for long, Television. They only released 2 albums, a live cut later, which wasn't that good. But their opening cut, Marquee Moon, was awesome. It was new wave as the label was introduced, and we got an opportunity of listening to the twin guitars of Tom Verlaine and the other guy, Richard Smith, and absolutely fantastic. Elevation is a strong cut, as is the title track, which goes on for about 9 minutes. Do check it out. It's one of the great albums, Marquee Moon by Television. So we're at number 2 now, and it's the debut album by Elvis Costello, My Aim Is True. He looked like a gawky kid on the front cover, but what amazed me was the quality of songs that he put on this first cut. Most of them were only at 2 minutes to 3 minutes in length, but he packed a heavy punch. He had a session band playing the music. They were a band called Clover, who played their own style of country blues, but there was nothing like that on My Aim Is True. As you know, it was a sort of punk album, but Costello, we knew that this man had class. Top songs then, Red Shoes, Waiting for the End of the World, and the ballad Allison, makes you cry. So we're left with the number 1, 1977, what else? Rumours, Fleetwood Mac. I think this album went beyond all expectations, but the chemistry between these 5 was absolutely magnetic. There's a very interesting TV program called Classic Albums that looks at how this album was made when the 2 couples were fighting hammer and tong emotionally with each other. But they certainly knew how to put down some great music. This, of course, was the second album by the Stevie Nicks, Lindsey Buckingham Fleetwood Mac. Dreams and Go Your Own Way. Well, that's my lot for 1977. See you tomorrow.